Alright guys, in today's video we're going to be going over some more Death Stranding news and information, and today the big news that was revealed by Kojima Productions is that Death Stranding is officially confirmed. It will be coming to PC in early summer 2020. It says, thanks to all of you who have been supporting Death Stranding. Death Stranding releases on PS4 on November 8th, 2019. Furthermore, Kojima Productions is happy to announce that Death Stranding will also be coming to PC in early summer of 2020. So there you have it. This is something that has been speculated upon for a while now. A lot of people have been wondering, is this game actually going to be releasing on PC? Is it going to be a permanent PlayStation 4 exclusive? And now we have the confirmation that if you are somebody who was hoping it would come to PC, you can look forward to playing it on PC in early summer of 2020. They don't give an exact month here, but it seems like it's going to be about a 6-month timed PlayStation 4 exclusive. And personally, I have no issue with this whatsoever. I'm really excited for the game. I'm going to be playing it on PlayStation 4, and I think it's safe to say that anybody who is really that excited for this game is probably going to go out of their way to make sure they can play it on the day it's released first on PlayStation 4 on November 8th. Any console sales that Sony would hope to get from a game like Death Stranding will certainly occur within the first 6 months of this game being out. So I don't see it as a negative. It'll be nice that more people will be open to this game. Not only will the game be able to sell even better once it releases on PC, but it will have a bigger player base, more people getting to experience it. I haven't heard anything yet as to whether or not, with the multiplayer aspect of this game, if there's going to be cross-play functionality. I'm assuming there will be. It would just make sense to do it that way considering the nature of the multiplayer. It's not traditional. But there you go. We have the official confirmation. I don't think that this is anything really worth getting upset over. I think it's safe to say that Sony going forward is going to be shifting how they do things a little bit. I don't think that means that they're not going to have permanent console exclusives anymore. I don't think that's the case at all, actually. But I do think that they are becoming a little bit more lenient, where it's like not every single game needs to be exclusive to the console permanently. In fact, it probably makes more business sense to keep it exclusive for a certain period of time with some games, and then, you know, in this case with Death Stranding, about 6 months later, release it on PC, so again, they can get even more sales from the game. It's good for Kojima Productions. It's good for Death Stranding. I have no problem with this. I used to have a more negative outlook towards games going to PC, but at this point in time, I think it just depends upon how it's handled and which games we're talking about. Like, I wouldn't expect games like The Last of Us Part 2 or other titles to just suddenly, you know, be available on PC 6 months later. We have to understand Kojima Productions is an independent studio. They're not a first-party studio under Sony, and because of that, I'm sure that this is one of the things that Sony had to work out with Kojima, where, you know, Kojima said, listen, if you want my game to release on PlayStation 4 and you want it to be exclusive, it has to be a timed exclusive. I want to at least release it on PC. If you're somebody who is playing on Xbox and you're hoping that maybe this game will make its way to Xbox, I do not think that that's ever going to happen. Something else that is worth noting here, which makes Death Stranding going to PC particularly interesting, is the fact it is using a Sony first-party engine, a proprietary engine, the Decima engine, which Guerrilla Games has created. And so I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on this, somebody can let me know if I'm wrong, but I think this may be the first time we're seeing a Sony-owned engine actually making its way over to PC. So maybe a sign of things to come, but we are going to have to wait to see more about that and hear more about that when it comes to future titles. But the other information that I wanted to quickly go over here, I'm a little bit late to it, but it still seems worth going over to me, is the fact that Conan O'Brien is actually going to be in Death Stranding. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this, where he does his Clueless Gamer segment, and recently Death Stranding was featured on it, where he went to go visit Kojima Productions, and it was a really funny skit that they had, and it was really awkward, but at one point Kojima turned and asked Conan O'Brien, do you want to be in the game? And they showed him getting his face scanned in, and then they showed a little trailer of him actually talking to Sam and making some jokes, to which Sam was just like not getting the jokes. But it was revealed that he will actually give you an Otter hat, which helps you swim more efficiently in Death Stranding, which is just really funny. It just seems so random and out of nowhere, but kind of awesome at the same time, and it really makes you wonder, are there going to be other celebrity cameos in this game? What other cameos are there going to be? We know that the main cast of Death Stranding, there's a lot of great actors there and actresses, but thinking about all of the people that took time to visit Kojima Productions over the past couple of years, knowing Kojima, he probably tried to get as many of them in this game as NPCs as he could. So it'll be really interesting when we play to see who else we end up running into. But the last thing I want to mention here is how apparently a big PlayStation 5 feature that we're going to see within Death Stranding that could actually be moved over to more games is how Sony is going to be trying to do more with their music division and trying to kind of meld it into PlayStation and the games that they're going to offer on PlayStation. It says, according to a new report, PlayStation 5 games will be making some big changes to how soundtracks work in titles. More specifically, PS5 games could very well feature more intimately integrated music from officially licensed soundtracks in a similar fashion of what Death Stranding is doing on PS4. According to the report, which comes way of Rolling Stone, the PS5 could be the start of a new initiative between PlayStation and Sony Music that sees the latter take advantage of the former by more intimately and prominently putting officially licensed soundtracks into, at the very least, Sony-developed games. The report, which comes way of inside sources at Sony, claims Death Stranding, Hideo Kojima's new PS4 game releasing next month, is the test subject for a new way of soundtrack implementation and synergy between PlayStation and Sony Music. As you may know, the upcoming exclusive features a very curated soundtrack with music from the popular artists like Churches, and it's not just music playing in the back of the cutscene. It's more intimately woven into the experience, or at least that's how Kojima and company have talked about it in the past. So this is actually very, very interesting, and I had to take some time to go over this because when I first glanced over it, I didn't really think much of it, but then actually reading more into it, I realized that this is actually going to be potentially a really, really cool thing that Sony's going to try to do, at the very least, like it says here, with their exclusive games or their games that they're bringing to their platform, where they're going to try to actually seamlessly weave these soundtracks into the game. And Death Stranding, that's one thing that we've all, I think, noticed that there's a lot of spotlight on, is just how curated, as it says here, the soundtrack is, and how they have a lot of different artists on there. And we know that one of the biggest things that Death Stranding is going to be doing is trying to create a sense of atmosphere, and one of the ways I believe Kojima said he's going to be doing that is with the music, and how there's going to be these times, it seems, where you're going to be on your journey, and I'm just assuming this is how it's going to work, where you're just, and we've seen this in games before too, and I think it's worked so well, like Red Dead Redemption 2 comes to mind, where you're just on these certain segments of the game where you're supposed to be feeling a certain emotion at the time, and playing just the perfect soundtrack, you know, while you're doing whatever it is you're doing, it just adds so much more to it. Like in Red Dead Redemption 2, there's like two moments where you're just riding your horse and something big in the game just happened, or something big in the game is about to happen, and these soundtracks play, and it hits you like a gut punch, man, and it was executed so well. And so this is one of the areas where I am excited with Death Stranding, to see how these soundtracks are going to be implemented and see how seamlessly they're woven in, and how how much more in tune with the game emotionally they end up making me feel. Because there's no doubt that, you know, the score of a game, the soundtrack of a game, just like a movie or anything else, is very important to the overall experience and the overall emotion you end up experiencing when going through it. So it's going to be really interesting. Clearly, Sony is getting ready to do some things very differently and make some big strides with the PlayStation 5. This isn't the only time, though, we're seeing, and this is something I really love about Sony, and I just want to end the video with this, is that it seems that they're putting so much importance into PlayStation as their brand. And we know the reason they're doing this is because Sony makes the most money off of PlayStation. It's pretty much where they, you know, it's the breadwinner of all of their divisions, and it's nice to see that they're doing all of these different things with their other divisions to kind of support PlayStation and how much better can they make it. And in this case, it's with their music division and soundtracks in their games. But we know that not too long ago, Sony announced a kind of PlayStation TV / movie division, where they're trying to use their properties and do more in the TV and movie space with it. So it's just a lot of really interesting stuff that's going on. But yeah, tomorrow we're going to have another, or maybe later today, depending on when I have the time to make the video, we're going to talk more about apparently another reviewer who maybe had a little bit more to say about the game than they should have, but suffice to say, they had some very good things to say about it, so we're going to go over that. I didn't want to put it in this video because I wanted to make sure to go over this info separately, but let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. How do you feel about Death Stranding going to PC? Me, again, I'm perfectly okay with it. I'm understanding that Kojima wants to reach as many people as possible with his new IP, and, you know, Sony, I think, is perfectly fine with a 6-month timed exclusivity period in order to, you know, sell as many consoles as they can within that time period. Let me know how you feel about Conan O'Brien being in the game, and let me know how you feel about this new approach that Sony's taking with their music division and soundtracks in their games. I will be very interested to see what you guys have to say. Leave the video a like if you did enjoy it. It really helps me out. Lets me know you guys enjoy the content. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.